Hey, it's Sue Greenwald. Welcome to Awaken Steps to Health. Today's topic is caffeine. I had talked on January 12th with Smarty on a video, and we talked about various health issues. And I had talked about how I went caffeine free years ago, and it wasn't easy. So I wanted to talk about caffeine and how I went caffeine free and what I'm doing now and how it can affect your health. So if you want to, you can go to our Bubble Up file. Link is below in the description. And there are two sheets here, caffeine quirks and caffeine perks. All right. So these are stock handouts that, I told you my sheets had been corrupted. So caffeine can affect your body, but basically the bottom line is that it borrows energy. Okay. So it's not natural energy. It's taking energy from other systems, other organs, other what, to keep you going and to give you that boost. All right. So there's a lot of potential health problems with that. First of all is dependency or addiction. All right. And that's unfortunately very common. People can't go a day without caffeine or tea or their soda to keep them going all day. That's a huge problem. And you want to break the chains of that addiction, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So caffeine quirks. The top 10 quirks are cardiovascular problems, and there's a whole slew of issues that caffeine can cause. The second thing is stress. So a lot of times we're in a situation, we drink caffeine and then we feel overamped. We're going too fast and we can't slow down. And that's what used to happen to me. And I actually kind of love that feeling because I would get a lot done, but it is not a healthy way to be. Blood sugar swings. So especially if you use sweetener in your tea or coffee or whatever you're having, it can spike your blood sugar. And then when that wears off, you have a drop where you feel sluggish, irritable, you want to take a nap and you can't even function. That's a blood sugar swing, and it goes like this. So what do most people do? They have more coffee and or they have a snack. So that boosts their blood sugar again and they feel a little better until the next drop. All right. We'll talk about that more in length in another video, but that is a really big problem with caffeine. And, of course, what we put in it. So then you have gastrointestinal problems. That can be a whole variety of different things. Caffeine can cause nutritional deficiencies. It can basically stop us from absorbing some of our vitamins and nutrients. I'm looking here, female and male health issues. Aging is a big one. So I don't know if you know what oxidation is. So when you age, your cells oxidize. So think of an apple. When you cut it, after a while, it starts to turn brown, and that's oxidation. Sorry, I just brain glitched. So we don't want that to happen to us and our cells, but have you ever noticed that people that drink a lot of caffeine, their face looks really old and wrinkly? I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but I have. And the last thing is adrenal exhaustion, which I will be talking about at the end of this video. So let me read that. Caffeine consumption leads to adrenal exhaustion eventually, which can leave you vulnerable to a variety of health disorders related to inflammation and fatigue. It is very nasty if you have adrenal fatigue. All right, the perks. It does usually pick you up and give you more energy. And again, that is not true energy, it's borrowed. It can give you a better mood, more concentration. There are potential antioxidants in your coffee or tea, depending on what you're drinking. One of the things I did once, I was hurt and I needed to have a painkiller in me, and I do all homeopathic things. This was a long time ago. So I ate a 95% cacao chocolate bar, which tastes horrible, but I ate a bunch of that because caffeine opens your capillaries. So I did that, and then I took the homeopathic painkiller, and it got into my system more quickly. And I needed to do that, but I knew how to do it. In general, caffeine, I would say, is not good for you, and I'm not trying to take it away. What I'm trying to do is help you to break addiction. So let's talk about that. Years ago, and I'm just going to say it, I love tea, hot, cold, whatever, doesn't matter. And I would drink a pot of tea every morning as I was getting ready for work. And then during the day, I'd go out to lunch or whatever, and I would drink 2 to 5 big glasses of iced tea. And that would overamp me. I would be working, I'd be talking on the phone, and I would be overamped, but I actually kind of loved it because I got a lot done, or so I thought. And then came the time for me to break that addiction of caffeine, which I didn't even know I had. So I went the first day without caffeine. I had tremendous caffeine headaches, irritability. I was just a mess. All right. Hard to function, hard to have clear thoughts, and all of that. So, what I started doing, because I figured it out, I need caffeine, is I would do 75% caffeine in my beverage, my tea, and 25% decaf. Now, I personally think decaf tea tastes horrible. It tastes very flat and empty, but I did it. Okay, so I would do 75-25, and I did that for a couple of weeks. So I didn't really notice a big taste difference. I didn't notice any caffeine reduction. And I started to drink more water at lunch instead of iced tea, like trying to taper down. And after a couple of weeks of that, I went 50-50, 50 caffeinated, 50 decaf. And again, no major hardship. All right. Didn't really notice a taste difference. I didn't get overamped. So it was kind of tapering down from that. So I did that for a few more weeks. And then I went 25% caffeine, 3/4 decaf. And honestly, it was okay. I did it and it was fine. Then came the day I said, I'm not doing any tea. And I am able now to tell you, for years, I've been able to not crave tea, caffeine, coffee, whatever it might be. All right. So I do drink tea now, but when I do mix the decaf with the caffeinated when I'm at home. I'm more careful with it, but I can go days without tea. All right. I love tea. I love the smell. It's an experience. I love the whole, thing surrounding tea. It's like kind of my time to get it together in the morning. I can go without that. So like a lot of times when I travel, I don't have the time or whatever. I'm free. I don't need tea or caffeine to boost my energy. All right. So I hope that helps you. I mean, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't know how good or bad decaf tastes. But if you can taper down on your caffeine, you'll never regret it. So this also goes with soda. Like some of my cousins will drink soda instead of coffee or tea, and they think they're doing a good thing. They're not. They're still addicted to the caffeine. They still need it. And it's maybe even worse in a way because of all the other stuff in the drink. But that's a whole different video. All right. Now, adrenal fatigue. All right. So I am self-employed. I love what I do. I work a lot. And like I said, way back when I would be drinking tea and talking on the phone, blah, 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 on the computer, I would be going crazy all day long. And I like being busy. But after a while, I realized that I just didn't have energy, the typical energy that I used to have. This is before I went decaf, of course. And I realized that I had adrenal fatigue, which is very nasty and hard to get rid of. So a lot of times when we work too much and we drink a lot of caffeine, we can get adrenal failure. All right. So I had a chiropractor friend who looked at my pupils and they were going out in, out in, out in, out in, out in. Like you're supposed to not have that. And I was like going like this. So not healthy. All right. So there are a lot of health problems that stem from adrenal fatigue. So the first thing you're supposed to do is get more rest. Well, how can you do that? You can try to take naps, you can try to sleep more, but it's really a process of being aware of it, going slower in your life, being more mindful in your life, making sure you get the proper nutrition and getting that excess caffeine out of your system. So I have a handout that's called Oh So Wittily, Could It Be Adrenal Fatigue? And it lists all the problems you can get from having adrenal fatigue, all right? Excessive sweating, back pain, knee weakness, dark circles around your eyes, dizziness, low blood sugar, muscle twitching, all sorts of stuff. And here's their suggestions. Get some sleep. Okay, yeah, sometimes that's not so easy. I go to bed, I can't always sleep. I've never been a good sleeper, so even with the caffeine out, it's hard to sleep sometime. Eliminate sugar and processed carbs. Now that's also, again, topics for other videos. It's very helpful if you do that. And again, you need to be mindful about what you're consuming because that does affect everything. Eat clean and quit the coffee habit. All right. Drink a lot of fresh water and other drinks. So you can look at this information on your own time. I think that getting free of the caffeine habit is worth doing, even if you don't think you have one. Then give it a try and get to the point where you could go a few days without caffeine. Now, I missed like the flavor of it. I miss drinking it or whatever when I don't have it, but I'm able to function just fine. I have plenty of natural energy now. All right. Get to that point.